Dion was letting us know about what he told us. Can't talk about Chelsea right now, but he has some thoughts on Arsenal's pursuit of their number one target, Mikhailo Mudryk. What are your thoughts,
Now go
Dion?
ahead. Talk about them tweets that you put in the chat and shit. Like get your stuff off first.
No, yeah, it is. This is more news than anything, but for the two people that are been very close to announcing Arsenal transfers prior to, as we know, uh, Eduardo Hagen, our boy Ben Jacobs, is reporting that the fee for Mudryk is going to be 50 to 60 million euros,
No
uh,
shot.
and and they are saying that his weekly wages will be at 37K per week. Comparison to that is Anthony, who for Man United, who is getting close to 100 million or 100 uh, K pounds a week. So we'll see what we're going to do there. Nothing is
Hold on.
signed. Nothing
Hold
is
on.
signed, but apparently Factor doesn't have anybody that they're going against. That's part of the thing. They were trying to drive up the price. It's a one horse race. He is saying he doesn't want to play at Chelsea. They didn't show up for certain introductions. I think X said it best last week. Anything over 70, anything over 80 mil, we need to be out on. And I'm on the same agreement with that.
So first off, the Ukrainian Neymar, who is allegedly supposed to be going for the same price tag as Anthony, being paid 1/3 of what Anthony got, the math don't add up on that one. Second off, let's say it does happen. You could put a number on it. Let's say you got him for 15 mil and he got his weekly wages of 5,000 per week. What is your expectation for this kid?
He needs, what I am nervous about is
What
squad
position?
depth for currently right now.
What position?
He's going to have to be on the left wing. And
And
he needs to
Martinelli
be.
goes into the
And
center?
here's the thing: I don't think Mudryk is a starter for Arsenal this year. And I think I know if you're paying that much money, that's just what it is. But you can't mess with the team chemistry. We need somebody who can be able to, and this is where I think Arteta is have to be very similar to Pep. We need to be able to spell Nketiah, and then Martinelli will then go to the middle, and then Mudryk will go to the left, which Martinelli has proven that he can play a number 9 position. And that's what we're going to have to do in some matches. And in fact, we're going to have to do that specifically in the league.
Is that what he plays for Shakhtar? Do you even know what he plays for Shakhtar?
Yes, his best position is a winger. Yes.
Okay. Okay. His best position against who is the question mark there? But so he's a backup this year, and that changes next year with Gabby Jesus back.
I'm not here speculating about what next year is, but I think we're about to listen.
No.
Let me tell you right now. Yes, I understand your question. Let me get my answer off.
Outlook.
My long-term outlook. We are about
Where
to bring in a 22-year-old kid who. When does he start? I think that he will either be starting champ. Yeah, go ahead. I think he's going to have to go through a summer. He's going to have to go through a summer prep or summer camp for him to be able to crack the starting lineup. And he's going to have to be okay with that. It is a much different league. He's 22 years old. He's leaving, once again, his domestic league here, the EPL, the best league in the world.
Okay. Now, he struggled for Shakhtar, right? Like, let's be completely honest about it. Like, it's not like he's done what even Anthony did prior to Man U. So, like, is the assumption from you and other Arsenal fans that the problem is his teammates? Like, is that like it's such a low league? No, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to you guys.
Sure.
Or the teammates. I just mean, like, is he playing in such a low league that like his talent isn't being showcased in the way it should?
That's a good question. I'm not going to say that he's meeting expectations neither here nor there because he's not on Arsenal's team yet. That's how I will evaluate him. I think he's a clean slate once he comes over. We're not buying production. We're buying the potential.
Okay, so let's talk about the potential then. This kid is 22 years old. 22 years old.
Okay.
22 years old. Like, I understand that's not that old, but that's old. Especially you're Ukrainian. He's a 22-year-old Ukrainian playing for Shakhtar. He has in his career 2 caps for the Ukraine national team. For Shakhtar, he has sub 30 caps. 22 years old. 22 years old. You have sub 30 caps for Shakhtar, and you have 2 caps for the Ukrainian national team. What happened? Where did it go wrong? Yeah, I'm asking you. You're muted, but I'm asking you. Yeah.
I don't know what you're asking me. Where did it go wrong? It hasn't gone wrong for my team yet. We haven't even acquired the player.
Arsenal fans are so delusional. So you don't care.
How are we delusional? We're top of the league right now.
Let me finish. So you don't care what he's done in the past. You think like he comes to Arsenal and he's just going to.
Oh no! I'm not telling you that he's about to give us 17 goals and assists combined next season. I have no idea. It takes some time to adapt to the.
Well, I'll tell you right now, he won't. Because he doesn't even do that for Shakhtar. So, like, he won't do that.
Okay.
As this pod has already shown, Lawson doesn't care what you did in the past, though.
That's not true. That's not true.
Shout out Partey.
Let's relax. Let's relax.
Hey,
I'm a father of 2 daughters. Let's relax.
Michael, we got to see all the evidence, Lofton.
And so, as we know, he has 7 goals, 7 assists in 12 matches thus far this year in the Ukrainian Premier League. Okay. He has 3 goals in 6 matches in the Champions League this past year. So every other match, he's averaging a goal.
Okay. How many players in the Ukrainian league are not enlisted?
I am just talking about that are not enlisted. Oh my God. I ain't thinking rather buff. What's up?
My thing with him is like, first off, you guys aren't getting him for 50 to 60 M's. Fabrizio posted today on his YouTube that Shakhtar's asking price is still 100 million, and that's the difference. Like
then he may not be coming, and that'll be a failure for us.
My personal opinion on Mudryk is that you guys get him in the summer for even less than 50 to 60 million. This kid's not that good. He hasn't proven to be that good. Everything about him is like hype and like he's blonde with like some tattoos, and Arsenal fans have a fetish for that. That's all it is. But something is wrong with him. Less than 30 caps for Shakhtar at 22 is not good. At 19, Neymar had 140 goals and assists. That's like 5x the amount of caps this kid has. I'm not even like looking at his stats. He doesn't play.
I just want to note that Gabby has 50 caps for Barca.
Was he like 17? And this is Shakhtar. Like, if you told me he was on City and was 22 and has like 20 caps and we're going to get him for 60 M's, I'm like, okay, the hype makes sense. He doesn't play in Ukraine, and he's 22. You're
talking about for the national team.
He doesn't play for Shakhtar. I mean, he plays for Shakhtar now, but he's 22. Why wasn't he playing for Shakhtar in 1920?
Sure.
This is Shakhtar.
Sure. I'm going off of, listen, I hear exactly what you're saying. 7 goals, 7 assists. That's 14 goals and assists right now for the 12 matches that they played. All right.
Yeah, listen,
I understand it. But they're not about to pay. I'm going to trust our scouting department. I am. I'm going to trust our scouting department and hope that it is not an overpay of 80 mil. It'll be a problem if it's over 80 mil.
If you guys get him in January, and I heard this too. I heard this aspect of the whole like Mudryk thing. Apparently, part of the reason they won't sell him for under 100 is that some of that money is going to the war, and I think that makes perfect sense to me. So, like, the more like you dive into it, I don't think you guys might get him this in January. Like, I would say you guys are the favorites to land him, but it's not going to be for the price Arsenal wants. It's going to be for Shakhtar's price. And is he, bro? There's not a world. He's not worth 60 M's. There's not a world he's worth 80 plus add-ons.
He's going to be a great player for Everton in 5 years.
But, like, he's going to be a king in Ukraine one day.
So if we flip him to Everton for 60 mil, you're okay with that, Charles?
God, no. In 5 years, no. Distressed asset, dude. That motherfucker.
No. He goes
27 years old. We've done it before. Theo Walcott. Danny Welbeck.
He's going to go to Everton for like 15 mil in 5 years.
Yeah.
This kid's not a $60 million player.
I'm not putting all my eggs in his basket, though. I'm going to tell you why. because I know we need a backup striker, period, because I don't think Jesus is going to be here potentially by Easter, and that's a problem. If he's not here by Easter, which is right around the time of quarterfinals with Europa, then we're going to have trouble really having a chance to win the league, whether we're in the title, if we're truly in the title race, which is the first Sunday of April. Second Sunday of April.
While you're talking about strikers, I have an honest question for you. Not even trolling. Yeah. I think if Arsenal, because I am of the belief you could get Mudryk in the summer for far less. They're trying to bank on it being January and you guys being in the title race, and they're just trying to take advantage, right? Like the January window's the window of overpays.
Yes.
I think if Arsenal was a serious like club that's trying to like wave off City, they should have spent the $20 million for 6 months on João Felix. They make the $20 million back when they buy Mudryk for like 30 in the summer. Or, and this is the one I love the most, in my opinion. Fuck Mudryk, go get Zaha. Because when Gabby comes back, Zaha would not mind coming off the bench. Zaha probably wouldn't mind coming off the bench to Nketiah. So he fits in perfectly when Gabby Jesus is back. This kid, Mudryk, bro, this kid thinks he's the shit. Like, he's delusional. He's just as delusional as Arsenal fans. This kid's not going to want to come off the bench. And I'm sorry, like, there isn't a world where he starts over Martinelli, Gabby Jesus, or Saka. Not a world.
You need depth, though, if you're going to compete in the highest of levels.
He's not going to want to be depth, though. That's my thing. Like, I think in his mind, the reason he's gung-ho about Arsenal and not gung-ho about Chelsea is in his mind, they're going to move Martinelli to the 9. And they might do that. But when it doesn't work, they're going to go right back to Nketiah. This kid is not a Premier League, like, title-winning winger. Versus Zaha, if you guys get Zaha, City's in trouble. If you guys got João Felix, City's probably not in that much trouble. But like João Felix is a little bit more Gabby Jesus than Nketiah, right? Like with the creativity. So like if you got Zaha, City's in trouble.
Ideally for me, top of my list, and he was top of my list actually second on my list in the fall, in terms of the summer fall transfer window. Excuse me. For me, just because reports are coming out, we've been linked to him for like over a year plus now. Is Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio, and so if we can convince him to be a winger for Arsenal, then we can move Martinelli to the middle for when we are in Europa League or whatever it may be, or in terms of actually a title chase. That's what my ideal scenario. I think Zaha has always been on the Arsenal potential list. And we actually messed up by not going to get him 3 years ago because I think we would have made top 4. But he's getting older now. That's another thing we need to understand. So are we going to go get him just for – if it comes down to just like we have to win a title, like which I think is the case because I think Arteta is even admitted, we moved it up. Yes. So therefore you go and spend whatever it is on that front.
Do you firmly believe this 22-year-old kid that's played sub 30 games of Ukrainian league soccer moves the needle for Arsenal this year?
Then what's the point? Everything this transfer window should be to win the title.
It should be to win the title.
I agree.
If he doesn't move the needle, why even spend 60 mil on him? You're bidding against yourselves in a window where it's going to be an overpay. So why not just wait?
That's what I think. I think eventually we don't get him.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to get him. I can tell you that right now. You're not going to get him. But, like, my point is, like, Arsenal fans, yourself, X, whoever you want to name, have convinced themselves Mudryk and Felix were on the way. And now it's just Mudryk. And then in the end, it's just going to be the 11th.
I never thought Felix was ever coming, ever. Because the loan number's too high, Dion. That's what I'm saying. Like, Chelsea is making dumbass moves.
It's not that high, though. Like, that's my point. Like, the loan
for 4
number
months?
is high. But when you look at it singular, right? Like, if you look at it as a whole, like, Mudryk will be in Arsenal by next year. The same way we said, I can't remember if it was before we started recording or not, that Aubameyang will be on Barcelona next year. Mudryk will be on Arsenal next year, right? So let's say you guys were willing to spend 60 million on him plus add-ons. If you wait until the summer, that number goes down to 40 or 45. The João Felix money is made up by right there. So now you got João Felix for 6 months, and then you got the guy you wanted anyway. And the guy you got for the 6 months actually could move the needle to you winning a title. And you just got both of them for the same price.
But what if we were to get?
Quick,
Okay, yeah, go ahead. That's fair.
Real quick, if the Mudryk price goes up, you're more comfortable paying $80 million for him because then he proved it. And then you have maybe like a City or Madrid or a Barcelona that's bidding against you. You have a 22-year-old kid with sub 30 games played, not even starts, sub 30 games played that none of the big clubs are linked to.
Yeah, listen, all of what you said, your dissertation has been incredibly profound. I'm not arguing against that. I'm not saying Mudryk moves the needle. For the project, I feel as though I am comfortable spending 50 mil, 60 mil on him for the future. Okay. Now, if you can get him for cheaper, which we definitely think that you can do in the summer transfer window, then you have to be, you should wait. But this is similar to where I knew that I was very nervous about us, how we were going to finish last year, because we missed out on Vlahovic because he said that he wanted to go to Juve for Champions League football. And I thought he would be perfect as a striker. We didn't get him. And then we're going to have to make some moves in terms of being able to have some more support on the wings because Martinelli just can't play every Thursday, every Sunday.
No,
and right now that's where we're at right now.
I completely agree. Martinelli and Saka need a break the same way Draymond Green, Kevin Looney, and Jordan Poole need a break, right? Like those two dudes need a break more than anybody in the Premier League. What I'm saying is paying 60 mil for Mudryk when you can get Zaha for 10 to 15 and he provides you that relief and then you get Mudryk in the summer, right? Like Mudryk, we don't even know if he could provide that break.
That's fair. Very fair.
It's a very real possibility you pay 60 million for a guy that's not ready to play Premier League soccer.
Oh no, that's what's going to happen. There's not a good chance. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Versus Zaha, like Zaha, João Felix. Like I'm not João Felix's biggest fan, but bare minimum, bro, like he can provide relief on the wings.
Oh, sure. And I'm not saying I don't think they were comfortable with making a move because I think Arteta is telling them unless we know we're going to get him for our entire project of what we're building, then we're not going to do it. And it could be short-sighted of Arteta. It really could be.
Then if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm incredibly worried about this project as a whole then. Because I think that the only reason you're not in Champions League right now, I look back at last January and Tottenham added 4 players that immediately.
And we didn't. Yes. And that's exactly what happened.
And City doesn't need to add anyone, by the way.
Where we are points-wise is different. But, yeah.
You guys have another chance to do something, and you're not going to add anybody. So, like, if I'm an Arsenal fan and the only person we get is Mudryk, I'm looking at this like, okay, when are we ever going to push the chips in?
Yeah, I will say that, but I don't think it comes down to Felix and Mudryk for us. There's still an opportunity to get Tielemans. There's still an opportunity. No, it would help us. Yeah. I'm just telling you, especially with what you think about with our boy Partey. Well, my boy Partey, not your boy, excuse me. Yeah, my apologies. But Milinkovic-Savic is still an opportunity. Zaha's not off the table. There's opportunities. I'm just telling you. You didn't know you were getting Betancourt. When in terms of you guys making late moves, these things just happen.
Listen, we can all name names, but I knew bare minimum that like when Conte came in, I knew we were going to spend in January. Did I know who that was going to be on? No. But like Arsenal may spend, but if it's on Mudryk, what's the point? Like we brought in guys that started a week after they got brought in. You're talking about Mudryk might start next year. He might start the year. He might be 27 before he starts.
We need 3 players. I think we need reinforcements at the winger, striker, and absolutely the midfield. I think we're fine in the back, actually.
But if you weren't willing to pay for a João Felix loan, and I agree that Chelsea paid too much. I'm on board with that. But if you weren't willing to pay for a João Felix loan, and if you guys did it, it probably would have came with an option to buy too. Like I don't think it would have been a 6-month loan the same way it was for Chelsea, because you guys are probably going to play Champions League football next year, and the buy option probably would have been like assuming you make top 4, which is probably a safe assumption at this point. But like if you weren't willing to do that, what makes you believe they're going to sign 3 players? Especially, bro, that Mudryk number is going to be massive. And if he's half the player, bro, Arsenal fans are calling him Ukrainian Neymar. If he's fucking Ukrainian João Felix, like he's going to hit those add-ons. The only way he doesn't hit the add-ons is if his name's Mikhailo Mudryk, which luckily for you guys it is.
Fair enough. That's a very not only beyond sane argument. It makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, you're talking to Edu right now, because I will feel very, very disappointed if he's the only add-on and if we overpay. Then it'll be a failure of a January transfer window.
Do you really believe? My other question, I was going to say, do you really believe that's who Arteta wants?
He's so guarded. Like all his public statements is about how he can be able to protect, how he protects management, and they're on the same page. And that's partially because they could have, and in any other maybe time period, non-pandemic, they could have fired him twice.
Sure. So in my research of his statistics and just his severe lack of like field time, I decided to look up some of these like compilations that Arsenal fans have put together that they probably like jack off to at night because they see blonde hair and tattoos. The dude like has 7 goals, but you would not know like based off what he does, right? Like Arsenal fans are talking about like he's creative, but you would not know based off what he does on the field. And like when I watch Arsenal play, like I think the Baby Pep nickname is asinine, but like they're like JV City. You know what I mean? Like if Manchester City was a high school, like they're like the JV team. Like they play the same style.
Dog.
You know what I mean? Like, and Mudryk, like I don't see it. I don't like. and that's not even me saying like I don't know. Like we do not know. No one knows. No one watches Ukrainian soccer. Ukrainians are very busy with other shit. They don't even watch it. The kid hasn't played since October, by the way. The kid, like, he hasn't played since October. Shakhtar has not played a game since October. And he's supposed to come in and, like, spell Martinelli right away. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But from what I've seen, like, he is not creative. He runs really fast. Like, he's going to be phenomenal on FIFA if Arsenal signs him. But, like, that's it. He just runs really fast.
What a perfect segue. He is Ukrainian Gareth Bale.
I was going to call him. I think he's.
Go ahead.
I think he's like Ukrainian. Man, who's like an elite speed merchant? Like not even Mbappe, because Mbappe has talent. Like someone that just like really just runs fast and like fans are just like enamored by it. Like, maybe like Ukrainian Christian Pulisic. I don't hate that, actually. I don't hate that.
Out for another 2 months, I saw today.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother story.
Because he kicked the ball and somebody kicked the ball too.
Oh, you know what? Ukrainian Gio Reyna. Because this kid thinks he's hot shit. Just like Gio. And they both just run really fast on the pitch. No one watches Dortmund. I'm sorry. No offense to my dog Jude Bellingham, but no one watches him play. I mean, no one watches him play. So like Ukrainian
They just got Heller back. They just got Sebastian Heller back.
His last match was once again he did start against RB Leipzig which was actually a very meaningful match. Just make sure
did they advance?
Let's cover this appropriately. No, because they lost. RB Leipzig did advance. And
no.
Shakhtar did not.
I'm talking about Ukraine.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about Mudryk. No, like they are in Europa right now.
No, I know.
Okay. But he did play though. He did start.
If 19-year-old Neymar was on Shakhtar, do you think they beat Leipzig? Yeah. The answer is yeah to that. This kid's 22.
Shout out Danny Olmo.
Are we sure he's the best player on Shakhtar? Like, I see a lot of Arsenal fans like on Twitter. I watch a ton of soccer streams. Shout out to Ranson Bance, Lee Gunner, the Arsenal guy, like all those dudes. I watch all their streams. the comments are just people talking about like Mudryk, like the Mudryk's this, Mudryk's that. Like if Shakhtar had more talent, the kid would have 1,000,000 assists. He's some massive creator. This is the best team in Ukraine. Are I know that's not saying much, but like, are we 100% he's the best player on this team? Like, I don't think so. This is the best team. That's the best team in Ukraine, like by far.
Yeah, we can't overpay. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. We got to be careful.
I will say
We have to be very careful.
because you brought it up too. Like he's gonna
They're
have a
in
clean
second. They're not even the best team in Ukraine right now.
Well, like talent and spending wise, they are allegedly the best team in Ukraine. I don't know what the standings are, to be honest, but like just floating back to your thing of like he's not on Arsenal yet, right? Like the talent he plays with on Shakhtar versus the talent he plays against is far superior to the talent on Arsenal versus the talent he'll play against in the Premier League.
Okay.
So,
No, I don't know a single person on this team.
Yeah, I don't either. Mudryk's the only one I know, and I wish I didn't know Mudryk. I wish he was not a part of it.
Let's say goodbye, a proper goodbye to Gareth Bale. Charles, you've seen Gareth Bale score some phenomenal goals in La Liga against your squad, but then also you had a lot of respect and you picked the Wales to beat the U.S. But Gareth Bale, how would we remember Gareth Bale?
Wales Golf Madrid.
I was going to say 2010, Arsenal's up 2-0 at the Emirates. 3 straight.
Gareth is a beast.
That's how I'll
Gareth is a beast.
By the way, 2010, Gareth Bale, not that much young, not that much older. If he was older. Actually, I think he was younger than Mykhailo Mudryk currently is.
and I gotta give him props. When he came to Tottenham during the pandemic, wasn't bad.
Oh no, not at all. That was a great signing for them.
Well, Welsh Mafia was in the building for that little period. Yeah, he had it lit.
There you go. Well,
by 22, he probably had more starts for Wales than Mudryk has starts in his career. Ukraine, Champions League, Europa, whatever the Ukrainian league is, under 19s. By the way, if you're playing for the Shakhtar under 19s, that's embarrassing.
I mean, if you're playing for fucking LAFC, you might as well retire. That's just I think that's how Gareth Bale really felt. Like, I should get in shape, but it's LAFC, dude.
Speaking of the U.S., Zidane denies the USMNT job.
No shit. Isn't he getting the French job?
Didier Deschamps just signed another 4-year extension, so he is the coach until through the 2026 World Cup. Is Zidane going to manage before that, or can he hold out for 4 years and France is still like, "Yep, you got the keys"?
So the problem is, like, he's not going to manage a team like the U.S. Like, he's above that. And if he managed a team,
Roberto Martinez got Portugal. That's what the going rate is.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, if he were, let's say he took the Portugal job, right? Like, I don't think it's as simple as him like going to Portugal and then just leaving for France. So like, I feel like if his ultimate goal is France after 2026, like you kind of either have to take a club offer or just sit and wait.
What club offer would he take? I mean, 4 years is a lot of time to wait.
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, like PSG's like the obvious one just because it's in like Paris, obviously. But like, I think he just has to sit around and wait. He probably gets paid by the France national team just to sit at home anyway. So like, I don't think he's worried about money.
What about you, Charles?
Rolling with Dion on that one. Like, there's really no job for him. He can't go back to, unless what is he going to do? Take over for Don Carlo, like for the 7th time? Like, it's kind of watching. Like, it's kind of pointless. So, if
you were Chelsea, would you give him a call? If Potter doesn't turn it around next year,
call whoever.
Sure. But are you picking up the phone if you're him? He's not coaching Europa football.
I just think there are a lot of available managers right now that make it where people are allowed to be picky. Like Poch is there. Like that's who needs to go to fucking US, dude. Like just
Pochettino.
make yourself. I'm just saying, like, if he needs to do something to get his profile back up.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, if Tottenham doesn't get this oil money, I mean, he's just gonna go back to Tottenham.
Yeah,
like that.
I think Poch is good. I think Chelsea could call Poch.
I don't think, bro. I think Poch already knows. Like the deal's done. He's probably already been off.
The Tottenham job.
Yeah, I think Poch to Tottenham, barring QSI purchasing Tottenham, which ML left off the topic list. But anyway, barring that happening, I think the Conte Tottenham split is like a completely obvious, and Poch is like the one they dangle in front of Tottenham fans to get them to like re-up on the season tickets.
Zidane's an interesting case just because I think that 4 years away, but the manager carousel is going to be interesting this summer because it all depends on where people finish.
Right now, either, dude.
Lucho doesn't have a job. But who's going to call him? Somebody in Spain?
No, I don't think Lucho's going. I don't think he's coaching against Barcelona. I don't think he's like. I think, like I said, that's why I think he's the perfect dude to go coach the national team.
Which
the U.S.
Yes, I think he's the perfect person. Personality-wise, everything. Personality-wise, everything. English? I don't care.
That matters.
I mean, I think that's a pretty big factor.
Does half the team speak English?
No, I mean,
do they speak Spanish?
That's the thing. They all speak Spanish. Either.
Hold on, Musa, Dest. I'm just saying, like,
listen. I don't want us hiring a coach because he can talk to Sergio Dest. That's. I want a coach that doesn't want to talk to Dest.
That's fair. But I just think they need like I said, they need somebody that's going to tell them the truth. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lucho or Zidane's like a home run hire for the U.S. I mean, the more realistic, like, what's Bob Bradley up to these days? You know, it's been about 8 years.
I said, there's just a bunch of jobs that I just don't think Lucho would take out of principle. Like, he wouldn't go be the Portuguese. Like, he would never go be the Portugal manager. And
sure,
like that.
Too much rivalry there.
Yeah, and so and I don't think he would go be like the Villa. I think he's too big to be like the Villarreal. Like, no offense to those guys, like he's too big to be the Villarreal manager. So it's like he needs to go be like going to be the U.S. manager is like off the radar almost, and you can go do it and build up this thing. And it's just
Does he want to like be like when he
parted ways again?
Oh, is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay. But I mean, he's had 2 jobs ever: the Barca job and the Spanish national job. Like,
I feel like Brazil makes the most sense for him, but like that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a good pair.
And like the difference between him and Zidane, like he's not going back to Spain, and if he does, like I don't think he has any issue like leaving a Brazil job. Versus Zidane, like I don't think Brazil would want him knowing like this is like. You got like a couple years, and if Didier decides he doesn't feel like managing tomorrow, it's over. You basically are a ticking time bomb based on that.
Yeah, those are the only 2 people I think are equipped to manage Mbappe at the moment, though. Lucho and Zidane are the only people that have Don Carlo could handle him as well. But
if Zidane was smart, the only job he would take is PSG, and you just get ahead of the Mbappe stuff for the next 4 years. That way, like,
make him the sporting director.
And they cool. That's another thing. Just have him like close to Paris. You can go, and he develops a great relationship with Mbappe because Mbappe will be 28 next World Cup or 29?
27. I think he's 23 right now.
Is he 23? I thought he was 24.
I think him and Mudryk. Are about the same age.
Appreciate y'all. Last thing, predictions. The Manchester Derby, Charles.
Where's this one being played? I'm sorry, I didn't do my research.
Old Trafford.
Oh,
first match will be up at 7:30.
Yeah, I'm going to the Villa afterwards. 3-2 City.
Yeah, they got that game at 4:30 in the morning on the West Coast. God damn.
It's because of they make them do what it has to be a top 6 match at the 7:30 slot every Saturday.
Is City
One of the top six. One of the
Oh,
top
I
six has to
I think
play.
that's why it's fucking Tottenham the last of the
Mhm.
6.
One of the top
Yeah,
six have to
it's
be
because
at that
they want
slot.
to make sure like not too many people outside England are watching Tottenham play. Essentially, if you have to watch Premier League football and it's Conte Bowl, you probably won't be watching Premier League football
No.
long.
Yeah.
No.
So your score, Charles?
I said 3-2.
City?
Yep.
Dion?
I think this is a runaway. I think like 4-1 City, maybe 3-0 City.
It was 6-3 at the Etihad, but that was before Ten Hag got his boys together.
Well, okay, so here's my thing with United, and I'm a huge Ten Hag fan. I've been very complimentary of him, like every time we've spoken about United. They're doing the thing all three of us hate, where like you win based off effort, and eventually the talent's gonna kick in from the other side here. And as much as I love what Ten Hag's doing, there's levels to this shit.
I think they're catching City at the right time, and I'm gonna say
I think
Yeah.
I think they're catching. I think they're catching the City that hears everyone talking and is like, all right.
The City that just lost 2-0 to Southampton.
No Diaz
This,
in the back.
this is
What
the
are they going to
y'all
do? Nathan Ake? Like,
this is the y'all must have forgot City. Like this is the one like, oh, y'all thought shit was sweet. All right.
Yeah.
2-2 draw.
I was close to that. I was close. I was leaning
2-2 draw.
That's what I think happens
2-2
in
draw.
the other one. That's what I think happens in the other one.
And that's exactly what I think is going to happen in the other match, too. I have a 2-2 draw. Tottenham, Arsenal.
I think it's either 2-1.
And I'm praying for something of that nature.
I think it's either 2-1 Tottenham or 2-2 draw. Like I said, I think a ton of that game comes down to what happened in City United. If City pounds United, my guess is Tottenham beats Arsenal 2-1. If it's a draw, I think they draw. I don't see it. I could be wrong on this. I think this is probably one of the first North London derbies where like I do think there's a massive gap between the two teams at the moment. I think Arsenal's like they're top of the table versus Tottenham's like holding on to Europa hopes at the moment. Like there is a gap here. But I don't really see Arsenal being able to win.
All right. There we are, folks. That is our predictions. I was trying to cut him off because he don't want to talk about his boys right now. He's mad at them.
Nah, man, what's going to happen? We're going to be down 1-0 in the 18th minute. And then we're going to score the equalizer in about the 55th. And Harry Kane's going to score in probably like the 87th, and we're going to win 2-1.
So yeah, I think the first two goals are flipped, but like the way I do see this going is Harry Kane either scores an equalizer or the winner somewhere between 85 and 90.
Yep.
Or both.
I think Tottenham scores first though this time.
Oh, okay.
I really think City pounds United and Arsenal's going to come out on some pussy shit. But like they're going to be like Tottenham, where like Tottenham scores first and then Arsenal wakes up like, oh shit. Like, we got to keep pace with City. And, like, I feel like Tottenham probably scores in the first 15 and then doesn't see the ball for the next, like, 45 minutes.
We don't lose matches against it when Partey plays. I truly believe that. So that's why I feel a 2-2 draw. As long as Partey doesn't get injured a day before the NLD, I think we'll be all right.
I mean, that's just not true. You guys are currently playing in Europa, and Partey has been on the team for plenty of time. So
that's just
he has plenty of losses.
Listen,
he
has more. 2022.
He has more losses for Arsenal than he does in courtrooms at the moment. That may flip, but at the moment he has more losses on the pitch than he does in a courtroom.
It may flip. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Kicking it with the brothers. We out.